Gordon has definitely sounded the alarm as he did today, which I even said to Jen. I think that the Hunter Biden story is a legitimate scandal. I think it's very serious because I think there are serious underlying issues that exist between Ukraine and, yes, I'm going to say it, China. This is China. This is a very serious thing. And what I think is going to happen, since the corporate media is so intertwined with the Democratic Party, that if McConnell takes over, they are going to impeach Biden. It's going to happen. I think if you're going to impeach Trump and you did it in the fashion that you did it, and knowing full well that it's going to be gridlock for 2 years, what else are you going to do? Gin up support for the masses for the general election in 24 and continue to kick the can down the road and waste time. But again, do I think that there's, smoke where there's fire? Yeah, I do. I think that there's really something to the story. But I also know that it takes a 2/3 majority to kick a president out of the White House, and that is not happening. So I think that you could basically count on 2023 basically being devoted to that if they grab the House and the Senate. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. The volleyball will keep going. I mean, here's the thing, right? I hope you all, it's kind of grayed out. It's kind of like a transparency, but there's this clock going tick, 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 tick. And that's physics talking about the environment right now. Okay. And so while this thing is going tick, 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 and we end up diverting our attention over here and back over here, like newsflash, oligarchs are corrupt. Newsflash, the president is corrupt. Newsflash, Republicans are going to, newsflash, the Democrats are going to. It's always the wash, rinse, repeat cycle that we go through. But the one thing that is steady going, it's like truth is marching, is the freaking environment. And so I hope upon hope that as much as we're all living our best lives trying to ignore this, that we get our heads out of our asses collectively and realize that while we're focused on Ukraine, instead of focused on the fact that NATO is really the military arm of the IMF, which is really the long arm of the United States, instead of focusing on our geopolitical angles using our payment system as a means of discipline, instead of focusing on that and really shifting gears to becoming a better not corporate citizen, but global citizen, okay, and really fighting this climate change issue. I'm telling you right now, this is the one issue, I want healthcare, need healthcare, would love to get rid of my student debt, and like you wouldn't believe, and he could do it with a pen stroke. I would love for all these things to happen. But the one thing that all of us, whether you're a Trumpian or whether you're a Biden bot or whatever the hell you are, if whatever facet of life you fall into, that climate change issue, it doesn't matter. It's going to get you. And just like, don't look up. I mean, really, this is one of those don't look up moments. And we keep getting distracted by 1,000 shades of identity politics, 1,000 shades of whodunit in Ukraine. I mean, face it. If you understand the structure of the IMF, you could see the IMF working tooth and nail, okay, to not only get their hooks into Ukraine, which they have done majestically, by the way, but to also destabilize Russia. Because what does the U.S. need right now? Unfortunately, Joe Biden or a real president, a better president that could step up and say, folks, it's time for us to modernize America. We're going to rebuild our infrastructure. Look at our friends in China who are doing such majestic work. We would like to tear a page. We'd like to talk to some of their engineers, find out how they're doing this stuff, and work collaboratively for the best solutions to make United States the best place, blah, blah, blah. But instead, because we're assholes, because we're a bunch of yahoos, we got to have an enemy. So what do we got? We've got a Cold War brewing. And this stuff is very similar to when China was going through its own civil war, and the U.S. was busy just coming off of World War II. And all of a sudden you had old Uncle Joe, Stalin, sitting there pushing in. And you know what? The United States didn't like that. So the United States did all of its NATO building and all the other crap through that period. And it's the same exact story today, unfortunately. So we are literally kicking the ball beyond an event horizon. We're kicking a ball beyond the break point. And I just hope that we can focus on that a little bit. I mean, we talked about, I think it was 12 years like 5 years ago when the IPCC report came out in 2017, I think it was. Now we're looking at even more stuff. And they're saying the one thing that's holding us back from actually addressing climate change is politics. Fancy that. Who'd have thunk it, right? Because it's a fucking, it's a theater. It's a three-ring circus. It's not real. It's theater. And so until we take that power back, and I'm going to keep reverting to this because this is my message and I'm not deviating. We've got to get that movement together. It's not just labor. Labor has got to focus on the climate too, because what's going to happen? Think about this. You got in like Pakistan and India, two nuclear powers that hate each other. Right now, all of a sudden you get arid lands coming through there and you get migration. Now you got Hindis coming with Muslims and they're fighting like tooth and nail because they hate each other. And you have the same exact stuff going on in the US. We got to get our act together so people understand, number one, this is real. And number two, hey, you're going to have some neighbors that are different than what you thought because they're going to have to move away from these arid conditions as the tsunamis come, wipe out villages, etc. This is, I hate for us to not focus on this while all this noise is going on. This right here, no matter who's in office, has got to be like that zero focus, pull back, shoot the arrow right at that target. I really believe this is ground zero. If we don't get through this, it won't much matter about any of the stuff we're talking about.
I think you're absolutely right. And where I do think that the president of the United States actually plays a significant role in this, and I do think that you do need to have some type of a grassroots run of it again in 2024, is executive action could actually help move this thing along. Because as the president of the United States, you have the authority to implement the Defense Production Act. If you declared a national emergency and said, which we are living in, a climate emergency.
Yep.
You can start the Defense Production Act and build a clean energy grid. And you could probably build it, Steve, in about a couple of years. It probably wouldn't even take that long.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.